whatever it takes. It's heli. I seek no rewards. Look.
Pressures of being great. I'm tatted with scars, I feel the look from their eyes, I know they gazing from far. Overcoming my fears, I never wanted this life, been giving them pain. Know my soul been paying the price, give fuck about the ice. Really, I just give on my life, been thinking too much. Inside my head, I'm living it twice, been feeling convicted. Every time I step on this mic, my art form, it come from God. This ain't no gimmick, my nigga, the vision really is vivid. See my canvas and shiver. Every time I'm here to deliver. My ex-bitch, she ain't believing, now she crying me rivers. She got a heavy heart, but ain't no time for reminiscing. Guard my energy, won't turn me to a victim. Believe in my potential, fuck what you projecting. I make you see my words, like this is a projection. I pray to God to call my soul, yes, I need some protection. Ain't busted down my watch, ain't busted down my chains. Got everything to lose, got everything to gain. Yeah, my soul tied to this shit. And I told the opposition that I'll die for this shit. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. It's you versus you. It's you versus you. With myself, the hardest battle of all. And when you look inside that mirror, are you seeing your flaws? I became a man, and my dad was never involved. But all these people trying to be the same, it's hard to evolve. Gave birth to a poet. Really, I just write what I saw. And all them days alone writing, it was just me and God trying to find my purpose. I needed a sign. Many days I was lost, I was trapped in a bind. The type of fear that I felt, you can feel in your spine. It's me versus me. I knew that I was different from niggas. I talk my shit. And really, I be shitting on niggas. I'm staying humble. Yeah, I'm staying humble. Ain't busted down my watch, ain't busted down my chains. Got everything to lose, got everything to gain. Yeah, my soul tied to this shit. And I told the opposition that I'll die for this shit. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you.
Don't let this fucking place define you.
It's you versus you.
At the end of the day, you gotta look at it. Who are
it's
you?
You versus you.
What do you do this for? They're always gonna tell you what you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, walking God's plan.
It's heli. I really been feeling. Yeah. Yeah. We gotta carry on. Like Mr. Caldwell saying, I know that faith is all we need. I hear them church bells ring. A lot of strange shit is going on inside of this train. Programs is being ran and shit is one and the same. When your thought pattern is different, they look at you strange. The same ones you used to see me with, now we estranged. Cause now my mission different. It's some shit I gotta attain. As I go inside my mother's womb, my soul was ordained. I battle alone. The war zone is Babylon. My one task is to bring the flock and the cattle along. Trying to change the vibration while niggas they Babylon. Now focused on getting my money, Tower of Babylon. My catalog is self-subscribed, I'm staying strong. I know my destination, I travel, don't know the roads. Don't give a fuck about this status and status quo. Combative is data low. Cannot compute with this blockchain. I'm pinging off of towers, can't triangulate my pen game. I'm off the grid. The lyrical EMP, they try to follow down a rabbit hole that's filled with TNC. The last of a dying breed, just aim fire and squeeze at demonic chapters. I know the sigil on his sleeve.
And crush the regalia, shining like diamonds to the sea. I'll show you Wonderland. It's up to you if you believe. The son of the matrix, shining like nothing you conceive. A bomb with a pen, removing nothing's gonna leave. Alarmed by the wind, We smell percussion in the breeze, the drummer go in and leave nothing but the leaves are not in the grin. Be the last thing you ever see in the problem with him. Lead to a problem with a den. A lion sent down from Zion, bringing drama to your kin. I promise I'm like Obama or Osama. It depends on how God order my steps. When you stepping up to him, I'm different. Can politic or demolish them, pick a fence and stay behind it, cause the lions is out again.
Whatever it takes. Exactly.
Right, this shit crazy.
Feel nothing at all. For my pain, it don't feel nothing at all. Yeah. Yeah, for my pain, it don't feel nothing at all. For these niggas now, ain't nothing but God. I had to move around with nothing but frauds. I tried to bring the team together, get my vision involved. I gave a plan, but niggas scrambled. It's time to pick up that call. We can't get 1,500 in a 6-week span. Time to pay up, everybody go, I be damn. I should've seen it. All I got is Rain, Slim, Tim, you know it's Teach. I got Tay and I got Leaf. I got Deja and Salih. I got Foreign, they got Feet. They say your name, that's cause you preach. Them niggas folded under heat. No umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream to stand up, if not lay down. Let it rain down. If you my nigga, then just say it. If you ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Yeah. My nigga, then just say it. Let it rain down. Let it rain down.
Right, this shit crazy.
Yeah. We gotta weather the storm. If you don't understand, get better informed. I'm from the trench, and my trust really weathered and torn. With my niggas from the sandbox, trying to put this shit on top some water, but we laying locked. We all want the same shit, but can't get on the same page. How bad do y'all really want it? Niggas just be saying things, replacing with y'all lives now. Every that I pipe down. Yeah, I was chilling for a minute, but I'm live now. Niggas talking about the past, come get with me right now. Come and really see my grind. Come and see me live now. I'm live now. I'm live now. Come and see me live now. Ain't no umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream, then stand up, if not lay down. Let it rain down. My nigga, then just say it. You ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Yeah. Ain't no umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream, then stand up, if not lay down. Let it rain down. If you my nigga, then just say it. If you ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Let it rain down. Yeah.
My nigga, did you say it? You my brother, did you say it?
Let it rain down.
Let it rain down. Right, this shit crazy.
Peace, love, and light to all the American Aborigines, man. It's your brother Aboriginal Power. Shout out to everybody that's tuning into the live stream today. I want to say peace and blessings. Hopefully everybody high energy, good vibration. Good to see you guys in the chat. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, drop a fire emoji in the chat. Seems like they're playing with my algorithm today. 22 people in here. That's quite odd for a channel with 29,000 subscribers. It seems like they're playing with the algorithm, so we're gonna need you guys to work extra hard and hit that like button and share the live stream today. Seems like I'm getting shadow banned today. Seems like I'm getting shadow banned. So shout out to everybody in the building. Hopefully everybody's enjoying a beautiful day. Got a special show for you guys today. We're just gonna be chopping it up over the things that took place over the last week, what we got lined up over the course of the next few weeks, starting with today. So before we get into that, I want to shout out to everyone that's in the chat. I do want to wait on a few people to come in the building before I actually get started. So I do want to shout out some of the brothers and sisters that have took their time out to come watch me. Shout out to the 26 people that's in here. Also, I want to shout out to some of the brothers and sisters that is active in the chat right now. So I want to shout out to you guys as well. Okay. Shout out to Aboriginal Strikes Back. Shout out to Shay Pink 40, CC Boss Queen, I'm on my magazine, C. Roberts, Copper Color Goddess, Julian Woodson, Outlast You. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. We got a lot of the empresses in here today. Good energy, good vibrations. That's what's up. That's what's up. So yeah, man, if y'all haven't heard over the course of the last few days, we do have some debacles and debates put together this week. Uh, on the 12th, March the 12th, I have two different debates on the 12th. One of those debates is against YK on whether or not we have pyramids and stone pyramids structures in the Americas. So that's going to be a debate between me and YK. That'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Also have that later on that evening at 9 o'clock p.m. Lex Vortex, whether or not Africans was commuting and coming to the Americas thousands of years ago. So that's another topic that we're going to be debating. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to March the 12th debate. Also on March the 18th, we have a debate with Rob Bourne on whether or not black people, or whether or not the majority of the black people today, the 40 million documented so-called African Americans and Black Americans, are in fact Aboriginal or Indian descent. Aboriginal or Indian descent people. So that's what we want to get into. We want to talk about that. That's going to be another debate between me and Rob Bourne. I have 3 big debates coming up this month. I'm putting in a lot of work. I also have a special program show where we're going to be breaking down Aboriginal history and how it was destroyed in the 1800s under the illusion of world's fairs and expositions. I will be doing that build later on this evening on Dr. Longo channel. So make sure you go subscribe to Old World Florida. I will be over there at 9 o'clock p.m. tonight building with Old World Florida. So y'all going to want to tune into that. It's going to be one of those ones. Shout out to everybody that is in the building. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. So yeah, man, we got a couple big debates. Hopefully you guys are ready for those. We're gonna try to win this. And I just want to make this clear, man. Me and Rob Bourne's topic is a topic that I really don't go in on much, but I do have some knowledge on. So it's going to be very interesting. Lex Vortex, YK on the 12th. After I get done with these 3 debates, I should be mentioned with the top debaters of all times, the elite scholars of all times. I have to be mentioned. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, you guys, but I'm standing on Aboriginal information, and we're going to stamp it in concrete with these next few debates. So yeah, shout out to everybody in the building, man. Hopefully you guys motivate your brother Aboriginal Power to turn up in these debates. Let's get a few people to hit that like button, share the live stream, and support the channel. We got 37 people in here, man. What's going on with y'all? I want to lock in with y'all. This is part of the Wake and Bake show, so I do want to light my backwood up. And chop it up with some of you guys. How y'all feeling in the chat? Y'all ready for these debates? Talk to me. How y'all feeling in the chat? Y'all ready to turn up or what? Y'all let me know how y'all feeling at that. Which debate are y'all most excited to see the most? Y'all let me know in the chat. Which one are y'all most excited to see the most? Yeah, we're gonna knock down Floyd Weather. You know what I'm saying? After these next 3, I think that'll put me at like 20-0. You understand me? 20-0 on documented debates. If I ain't one of the top scholars in all communities, whether it's Aboriginal, Indian, he's whoever, I got to be put and mentioned with the greats. And it's because of you guys, which is great companions and brothers that we conversate with, help strengthen and sharpen our understanding of Aboriginal perspectives. So yeah, shout out to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Y'all help a brother dive into these crates and make these correlations and bring the primary or what data that supports our claims to the forefront, man. So we appreciate you guys, man. You know what I mean? I do want to kind of get to a bill from the other day. I was spanking up on some Pan African. And when I said that the other day, I wasn't talking about Rob Bourne and YK. I mean, that's obvious, right? That's very obvious. I was talking about some other ones. But so yeah, I want to show you what I was doing the other day, spanking up on some Pan African. So let's get into some of that conversation right now, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I want to say once again, peace and blessings. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. They playing with my algorithms today, so I need y'all to share this at least 5 times. I know it's y'all on at least 4 social medias, brother: TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Out of those 5, y'all on at least 3 of them. So share the live stream on at least 3 of them for your brother. Fuck with your brother. If y'all really rock with me, y'all support the channel. Cash App, PayPal information at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to support. But I do want to get right into this dialogue from the other day. I was on my brother Hardline. I was on my brother Hard Code channel, chopping it up, and there was some Pan Boo Boos on there the other day, and I was just on there spanking their ass up. And I just seen them live. I was just really coming in to build with Alquine, chopped it up with him in a second. So I was just coming in there to do that. And so yeah, let's proceed to get into some of this audio and video that we have.
But they have more Asian DNA, just like you just alluded to a second ago, correct?
Yeah, but just to be honest, they, like I said, me and my descendants came from.
I hate this nigga voice. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I can't take this nigga voice serious. I can't take this dude voice here, but we're gonna give him respect. Shout out to this brother. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Shout out to Roger W for the $10 Cash App donation, being the first person to support the channel today. We really, really appreciate that. I can't even stress how much we really appreciate the support over here at Big Aboriginal Power Platform, especially the channel that puts in a lot of work and that they still won't give enough credit to even monetizing the channel. This channel has never been monetized. We're working on it, but it hasn't been yet. So let's say that. Let's hope that we get it. Support the channel. Don't let Roger W be the only American Aborigine that support this platform today. Okay, so make sure y'all support. Shout out to Roger W. Let's continue. Let's shout out to this brother. Let's get into the
more Asian DNA, just like you just alluded to a second ago, correct?
Yeah, but just to be honest, they, like I said, me and my descendants came from the west coast of Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but so, where are you from in America, if you don't mind me asking? Just a general.
I was born and raised in New Jersey, but I currently live in Oregon. But I can tell you I can tell you my lineage though. My great grandfather escaped from South Carolina and escaped up to New Jersey and served in the Civil War.
Okay. So you're Black American, but you're originally from New Jersey, correct?
Yeah, well, that's where I was born and raised. But that's like my lineage, like my ancestors escaped slavery to New Jersey.
Okay. How long have you been in Oregon?
Like 7-8 years. I got out the army and stuff and moved out here.
Okay. So I need to ask you a question.
He's a Jersey man too.
Okay.
Lady warrior.
Ignore the chat. So do you think growing up in New Jersey, which is pretty much an extension of New York, which is pretty much a Pan-African bubble, do you think that may have led you to really devote yourself to the ideals of Pan-Africanism? And once more, do you think moving to a place like Oregon, which is very racially polarizing, that may have even boosted or put your Pan-Africanism on steroids to make you buy into this fantasy?
That's a good question. Well, for one, and you can probably ask people ask people like Forecast, maybe he knows, and like people like Afro Think Tank and folks like that. I didn't really start becoming Pan-African until like 3 years ago, until I really started internalizing my quote unquote Africanness or whatever, and I started actually doing a lot of studying and reading and stuff like that. So that's kind of and that happened when I was living in Oregon. Like I wasn't like I I used to be a Christian, you know what I'm saying? So but anyway, this is like new. So when I grew up in New Jersey, I grew up in a black liberal family. They were like religious a little bit, but they weren't overbearing. Like they didn't talk about abortion, they didn't talk about gay people, they didn't talk about.
Yeah, my boy got the zestiest Pan African tendencies on earth, boy. That nigga zesty, and that nigga a zesty African. Your name Pudding Pop. Your name Pudding Pop. Go on, Pudding Pop. Calm down. He said, for my ancestors. Like, boy, you better put your tongue back in your goddamn mouth, son.
None of that stuff when I was growing up. You know,
Understood.
So what I'm saying is none of my outside influences are pushing me towards Pan-Africanism. It's more of a revelation I've had on my own from my lived experience being a black man on this planet.
Okay.
So I didn't really get a push. Sorry, go ahead.
I understand. Please don't belabor the point. Here we go. So you're going to say that you grew up in New Jersey, you didn't grow up in a bubble that pretty much preaches Pan-African ideals. You don't like.
No.
Here we go. I grew up in New York, and I know that I can't say I was a Pan-Africanist, but I knew all of the talking points just by growing up in the area. I didn't have to, practice it or even preach it. It was just a part of my life. And for you to say that you didn't experience this, that means you lived under a rock in New Jersey, or you lived in a part of New Jersey where you were very secluded. So were you close to New York or not? Or were you?
I was born and raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey. So
you're right across the border. You're right across the border.
So it was not a very closed place. It was a very open place. Like we start hopping the New Jersey Transit at 8 years old to New York City. So
so you did grow up in a Pan-African bubble.
No, hold on. Let me finish.
The tri-state area.
Well, what I'll say is we like growing up. You've always especially going to New York City. You see the 5%ers. You see the Israelites. You see all the black religious cult sects or whatever. My family stayed away from those people. My mom married some idiot Muslim motherfucker or whatever, and he used to talk Pan-African lip service and Muslim lip service. And I heard a lot of other people like 5%er pretty much just black lip service. So my immediate family was never into Pan-Africanism or never engaged in that type of stuff. They just kept to their own and just worked jobs.
Right, like most of our families, until we start inquiring and questioning what is our family lineages, what is our family roots. So this brother was conditioned to think the way we think, and we got to get into the early days of conditioning, which starts in a peak time is in the 1720s. Is when you start having this heavy promoted conditioning where people was accepting African and accepting that identity, and not only was they accepting it, but for some time it was the conditioning to accept this, and this is what we're looking at. And so while he has this conditioning in his brain, he must go through the shampooing or the washing, the brain washing, the baptism of his brain, and we're gonna try to engage, but this guy's a little fruity. I'm not trying to laugh at him, but he's quite flamboyant. I'm picking up on pink flames, socks, some type of pink flames on his socks. I'm not for
like
sure.
regular Negroes in the system. So
and that's the thing. That the same thing goes for my family.
Both of
my parents were government workers. They didn't necessarily preach it to us. But you can't say
I've been imbued with Pan-African talking points since I was a kid, which that never happened.
Well, but you grew up in the bubble, so
just because you weren't indoctrinated in your household, like I was never indoctrinated, but I understood that this Back to Africa promoted heavy black pride. Africa was around, whether I grew up around or not. We seen it. Shout out to Son of California. I want to say shout out to Son of California for the Cash App donation. We appreciate that. Shout out to Son of California. We really appreciate that. Make sure y'all support the channel. Don't let Son of California and Roger W be the only ones to support the channel. Shout out to Son of California. Shout out to everybody else that's in the building. We got 149 in here. We kind of started off kind of slow earlier. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, it's already been 20 minutes in. We got 20 people in here. What's going on with the algorithm, for crying out loud? Shout out to Greedy Vegan in here. Smoke Signal, Real Recognized, Realized, Certified Sanchi, and Shaping 40. I see y'all in here. Peace and blessings. Want to stand by love and blessings to you guys and your family. And that's to everybody that's in the chat. So shout out to everybody in the building. Share the live stream if you can. Let's continue this conversation. I come in at some point.
It's like
I grew up around white people. I grew up around Hispanic people. I grew up around Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans are the blackest Hispanics in the diaspora.
You know what? I grew up in a diverse place. I didn't grow up.
You just say you grew up.
So the thing about it is, I heard everything, and the thing about it is, Pan Africanism was like this. We barely even heard about it. I saw more Hebrew Israelites than I saw, and Muslims than I saw Pan Africans.
And see, that's the insidious Pan Africanism. It's very benign. That's what I'm really trying to get.
Wait a minute.
It's very benign.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
You won't even know what your culture.
I think you guys conflate Pan Africanism with just actual facts, because for those who claim that our people are the indigenous of this continent, you don't have any facts. Like, we have bills of sales, banking records from Rhode Island, Bristol, United Kingdom.
Tell them, brother.
Slave auction documents. Just because you believe that the transatlantic slave trade happened doesn't mean you're Pan-African. I do not like Africans or Caribbean people because they come here and they try to dump on our people just like everyone else, and we built this country.
Here's another here's another FBA Negro. Here's another FBA.
No, I'm not FBA either, because I don't like Tariq Nasheed.
You agree with
Tariq Nasheed is another con artist. I don't like when people lie about history.
You're literally talking about xenophobia against black people right now. What are you talking about?
I don't even know where this went, but I would like to respond to the gentleman. You say you have bills of record, you have ships. I also have
Rhode Island.
I got you. Please.
We got a new guest coming in here. You about to drop the bomb on you.
Here we go.
What is it? The Southeast Pacific dude, Tyron? Yeah, look.
But I also have literature of Mali emperors saying they sent ships to the west that never came back.
That doesn't mean they made it.
Oh, so
it's like, some bombs about to get dropped. They like Big Al, man. Dun, 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 dun. He said, "Oh, I know who it is." She started shaking his head, nervousness, hands got sweaty, stomach bubbling. He didn't know what to do. You understand me? That's the energy we want to bring. Shout out to everybody that's in the building that's been dropping this beautiful, beautiful information when it comes to our ancestor lineage, culture, and innovations here in America. We really appreciate you guys' contribution to this. I want you guys to drop a fire emoji in the chat if you can hear me right now. I want to make sure y'all can see the screen clear. Drop a fire emoji. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's continue this dialogue.
Well, Africans are that dumb. Huh?
Right. So wait a minute. So that means the numerous, it's not just one. There are numerous advertisements for auctions.
Hey, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but can we get some people to support the channel? Like, hit the like button. We got 180 people in here and 90 likes. That's crazy. Like, that's super crazy. That almost seems like I got bots in my chat. I know I don't got bots in my chat. We got real niggas in my chat. And real brothers and sisters in my chat. Shout out to Gerald Wilson for the Cash App donation. We want to say appreciate you, brother Gerald Wilson. Shout out to brother Gerald Wilson once again. We appreciate that. Thank you humbly. I can't stress it enough how much we appreciate the support over here at Big Aboriginal Power Platform. Shout out to Ricardo D as well for the Cash App donation. We appreciate that. And we really appreciate that over here at Big Aboriginal Power Platform, because this channel puts in a lot of work, a lot of time, and puts out a lot of information. And it's not monetized. This channel has never been monetized. And usually the truth, they try to keep it down as much as possible on the suppress, by suppressing it and not letting us be able to monopolize and create economic pathways, especially when it's truth. You know, they'll let you create any kind of economic gain when it comes to the negativity or demonizing our culture or something like that. But no, man, we appreciate all the support, man. We really do. So what you guys give, we really appreciate that, man. Listen, like I said, let's get these likes up. We got 177 people in here currently, and we have 112 likes. Let's get the likes up, family.
Of sale for Africa. See, the one thing I like about Alquan, and I do agree with you all on, is that we are a group in and of ourselves. We're not African, and we're indigenous to this continent in the sense that in the sense that our ethnic group was created here. We're part African, part European, part Native, but we're not the Native Americans. Those people have their own legacy. Don't steal their legacy. They speak languages that are not related to any languages in Europe or Africa. Those are the indigenous people of this continent, the First Nations. So
okay, can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I heard some erroneous shit.
Okay, I don't know who that was. If you want to,
that's Aboriginal.
Black Americans are done. We're done as a people.
Yeah, we are because we got people. We have people that believe in myths. Tariq Nasheed, Hidden Colors is all mythology. It's not factual history.
All right, hold on one second.
You think we're indigenous to North America?
Yes, and I would like to say
we're indigenous in the sense. Listen, we're indigenous in the sense. If you do your DNA, everybody in this chat is going to find European DNA and Native American along with African. You're going to find 3 DNAs within you at least if you're descended from slaves in America. So we started out here in the sense that we're 3 in 1 automatically. We're not straight Africans. We're not Yoruba, Igbo, or any of that other crap. That's all I'm saying. But at the same time, we're not Apaches. We're not any of the indigenous people from this continent. They were here first, the First Nations.
All right, now
how many Native Americans have you met in your life?
So these niggas think that straight hair Chinese looking people was the first people on this continent. When do people even start accepting that light-skinned, dead follicle hair people, mongoloid phenotype people was the first anywhere? When has this even became a thing, you guys? This is totally erroneous, crazy stuff.
Well, but hold up, Rifleman yielded to Aboriginal power. Let them get in for a second.
Peace and blessings, Alquan. It's always a pleasure coming on your platform, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody in the building, man. I just want to go and make it known, man. You cannot exempt or seem to single out the Americas when it comes to black people being all over the planet. You just said, and that's one of the things that we have to establish here. You see what I'm saying? So when we have these conversations, we got to engage and establish our understanding and perspective, because a lot of people come and put their own things on it, their own spin on it, their own information on it, and they drop and they run to these various platforms and they run across brothers on these that disagree in opposition, right? And they beat up on these talking points. Excuse me. These talking points would then be condensed and then pushed all on us, which is crazy. Shout out to everybody in the building too. Like I said, this is an open panel, so I have dropped the link in the chat a couple times. I will drop it again for anyone that's in here. So, we're just chopping it up. It's for anybody to come through and build, But this is a conversation I had a couple days ago prior to me having a conversation with Lex Vortex and YK The Truth, which we have a debate coming up with YK and Lex Vortex on the same day, March the 12th. Make sure y'all tap into that. March the 12th, 7:00 p.m. is YK The Truth and Aboriginal Power. And later on that evening at 9:00 p.m., it'll be Aboriginal Power versus Lex Vortex. So make sure you guys tap in. Okay, it's very important for you guys to tap in. It's going to be one of them ones I want you guys to support. And shout out to you guys that's in here today supporting the channel. Like I said, it started off real slow when I first cracked open the live stream, as if they were shadow being. It was like 12 people in here after 20 minutes. I'm like, what? That's crazy. You know, we usually be down there 80 to 100 deep after 20 minutes of starting the live stream. So I don't know what was going on, but shout out to
We was
everybody
over
that's in
at
here right
AP.
now.
We was over that App TV channel, man, like debunking folks.
Oh, I didn't even know App TV was live, man. Damn, that's crazy. I
He
didn't get
went
the
off. He went off because
notification.
you was. Yeah, he went off because you were coming on, man. And American Rifleman, man. He was on what's the Pan African Strikes Back channel. That's my dude, man. He came a long way.
Okay, so everybody was at App TV. Shout out to App TV. If you're not subscribed, which I'm pretty sure you guys are, go subscribe to my brother Aboriginal TV. His new channel is called The Ghost of Aboriginal TV. Go subscribe to The Ghost of Aboriginal TV. The channel is called The Ghost of Aboriginal TV. Go subscribe to that channel. Don't forget, this up and coming Saturday, we got Chief Holiday versus Bro Sanchez on decomposition of the bones. Y'all gonna want to be there. This is gonna be a major pay-per-view debate event. It's gonna be very high energy and a lot of information there, and it should dissolve a lot of these talking points that often gets debated. So shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Shout out to everybody that's rocking out. Shout out to Ab TV too, man. So shout out to Chief Holiday, Bro Sanchez for that debate. It's a lot of shit going on this month. You understand, man? See, and don't forget, March the 18th. Shout out to Robborn, the first Pan African that's gonna get this work from an Aborigine, and it shouldn't be the last. We want Jabari after this.
Salute,
we want
salute.
the light after this. But shout out to Robborn. He's a good guy. And we're debating March the 18th. So make sure y'all be there for
Bro,
that.
you about to get smoked.
Be tuned in for the pay-per-view. And it is going to be pay-per-view. Tickets are going to be on sale at $20. We will be posting the link, and it will be in the description box of the future videos ahead. So just make sure y'all tune in to that. We got Hanuki L on the panel, Zab, nonetheless, and we got King Cass System. Peace and blessings to you, bro.
Hey, where's that debate gonna be held at? By the way,
which one?
The one with you and Rob Bourne.
And we're working out the actual environment where we're going to be. And I will be keeping you guys updated on that, but it will be on a neutral platform for the most part. It doesn't really matter where it's at to me.
TV. You about to get smoked. You about to get smoked, Ab. You about to get smoked.
Power. Real quick. Like in regards to that debate, right? All right. In regards to that, we're great. Note how when Rob Bourne came on the panel, he was confused. Like he was putting certain things on what you believe. Like he was saying, we don't believe in DNA. Then he said, we don't believe that the slave trade happened. What I'm finding is, as I traverse a lot of these channels, there doesn't seem to be a linear timeline. That everybody is all over the place. Some people don't believe in DNA. Some people do. Some people don't believe in the slave trade.
And that's why we have our own conversations within our own environment and within amongst other Aborigines, is because we have to still sharpen the steel, create a consensus, then put this information out, have it viewed by our peers, and then see if it's verified. So that's how we usually come up with how we need to come up with some of these.
That's what I'm saying. I think it needs to be consistent, because if it's like all over the place, then it makes it seem kind of like, at least with the Pan African, they got their story together.
Hold on just a second. I'm gonna let you get it in. I just want to make because I got somebody on the call in, and we're gonna get to the call in number in just a second. But I do want to make another special announcement. Today at 9:00, I will be over at the brother Dr. Longo, aka Old World Florida's channel today, building and chopping it up, bringing out some Aboriginal information, showing some of the technology of structure and advanced science, and compared to the sciences that was destroyed during the World's Fair. So I will be over at Old World Florida's channel tonight at 9:00 p.m. dropping some heat. So I want to see you guys over there supporting Aboriginal power over there at Old World Florida platform. So yeah, let's get it in. We got 803 area code. You're talking Aboriginal Power on the Waking Big Show. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm calling. I was watching on the internet that everybody thinks they're from Africa. That's not true.
Okay, go ahead, get to it, brother. You open. You got the floor.
Yeah, I'm from Houston, South Carolina. I'm from a place that they call Yamasee. For the Yamasee Wars that it happened in Houston, South Carolina. Everybody thinking that the Yamasee tribe is from Florida. That's not true. They originated from the Southeast, the whole Southeast, from South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, all that the Yamasee tribe together.
Well, at one point in time, South Carolina, some of Georgia would have been considered Florida. And when we deal with Yamasee culture, which I can see the confusion with what you said, which I'm with you on to a certain extent, the Yamasee descends from another group of people that of their ancestral land, which came from the Atlan, or that with the people that you also call Olmec today. So when you get into traditions of the Yamasee and who these people are, you'll find out that the Yamasee are in fact the descendants of the Olmec.
Oh yeah, we all is family. All this is family.
Right.
We was here from day one. We never went off this continent. I'm just saying where I'm from. In Houston, South Carolina, we got the 10 families who came from Europe. It's still here. The 10 generation family, they're still here in Houston, South Carolina.
Right. So you from Europe.
The original family that I talk to all the time. And then when I'm living at, everybody calls themselves a Native American, not Native American, but a person from this land.
Are you a person? Are you a person from this land? Or are you from Europe?
Huh?
You say you from this land, or are you from Europe? I just want to make sure that's clear.
No, I'm from Houston, South Carolina.
Okay, straight up. So you from this land? Okay.
I'm just saying that the original family that came from British that came to Europe is still here today.
Oh yeah. The original people that went to Britain. See, that's how they got the game. That's how they got some of the game. Some of those tobacco growers, some of those them fruit growers, they was taking them peoples, and they was already making their way out to Europe. They settled some of Europe. They pretty much established Europe and come back later on, and they call foreigners. These are the people who get expatriated. So, but before then, those same people. Well, after that, these same people get taken over to various parts of Africa.
That's what I'm saying, right? Where I'm from, right? There's no white person living around where I'm from. It's all black owned land. Everybody everywhere I live at is owned by black people. We have black schools. We have I have my own graveyard site in my family on my land. I can show you graves in there for 1,500. It's nothing but my family. It's not at a church or none of that. We have our own graves in Pocatalico.
Right. And the grave says, and it got inscriptions on the grave. It has writing on the grave.
My great grandmother's in it. My mother's in it. Everybody who's in my family is in that graveyard. Everybody, don't care where they don't move at. When they have their funeral, when they die, I want
to see some of that, man. That would be lovely, man. If you could bless the beautiful world with shedding light on some of your ancestor stuff, if you feel up to it, that would be. I just want to see some of like the headstones, because these would have been handmade headstones, and the engraving that would have been in there would have been the language of the people that would have been speaking that. So I want to see what language and stuff like that would be dope. I appreciate that.
And then what I'm saying, that people still speak the language today. And I can take you to hundreds of people, older people, 90 years old, 80 years old, and they still speak their language today.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, bro.
And they don't get on the internet and none of that. They don't mess with the internet and stuff like that. I can take you to a place on it, and you ask them, they're 90, 100 years old, they'll tell you they're from here. They're not from Africa. Right. Because we have an African village in Buford too. We got an African village that came in 1987.
Right. We got to understand that African Americans ain't African.
Yeah, we know that. That's what I'm saying. Where I'm from. Right. In Buford, South Carolina, everybody around here, we know our great grandmothers, we know our family.
Which I want to make it clear. Just because we're saying we're not Africa doesn't mean we don't like Africans. Okay.
No. I have Africans that move here. I got an aunt. She's a school teacher. Her husband is African. He's from Nigeria. He's been here since 1940 something.
Yeah, so we have no issue with Africans. We just want to make sure that our identity has been properly announced and we've been properly recognized, from which the data says, and whom we relate who we are. So I appreciate you for calling in, brother. I'm gonna get back to the conversation. I really appreciate you for calling in, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. Shout out to the 803 area code, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Hanu, I know you want to say something. You got the floor. A1, you got.
Now I wanted to show the brother something.
He can't see. He
You
was
heard
on the
me?
phone. He couldn't see. He was on the phone.
He was on the phone.
Yeah, that was
Look,
a phone call.
see this? You see this right here, right? This is a quote from the Congressional Serial Set. The United
You're
States
not
government.
you're not screen sharing, A1.
Oh shit! Damn, so I ain't. Hold up.
Shout out to everybody in the building too, man. Drop those fire emojis. Get those likes up, please. Let's get these likes up. We got 100. I'm at 222 people in here and 137 likes. We got less than 70 people that haven't hit the like button. A little over 70 people that haven't hit the like button. Come on, man. Let's get it up. You feel what I'm saying? Support the channel, y'all. Let's get it. You sure?
He was saying the Yamasis, right? But remember, the Yamasis are the Timical. See, they don't want people to know about the Timical. That's why they hide it. That's why they give you the Seminole history and all that. The Yamasi, the Gala,
and the Timical is part of the Omo or the Maya.
They're not.
Right.
That's a fact. But they said that the Yamasis is also, but the Yamasis ain't nothing but the Timical. They're the same fucking people. Because I had a big conversation with one of my boys last night, and we was building on some shit, and he was informing me some shit I didn't even peep. He was telling me that the Britons was the people that was in Arcadia in Canada, and they was the ones that set the settlement up with Sierra Leone. You know what I'm saying? From Arcadia, because most of the people that was sent to Sierra Leone came through via way of Canada, right? Fairfax, to be precise, right? Or approximate, right? Fairfax. But some of the people who was in Fairfax migrated from Virginia, and they was also the Micmac people who was sent over there, right? But nonetheless, though, right? So it says the large population on the coast of South Carolina is quite different from this he described. The mayor Buford says the town is remarkable, quiet, and good order. For 20 years, not a single individual has been killed or seriously injured in any disturbance within the corporate lines. It's a see handbook of South Carolina. This is a statement of the mayor of Buford, and Buford is perhaps the blackest spot in the whole South. That is to say, the Negro population predominates more there than anywhere else. It said there is a peculiar history fact connected with that town. I would like to mention to the convention that is the place where the federal troops first set the Negroes free. It said it was. I'm trying to get this shit right. I can't say it. That it wasn't done on those islands in the neighborhood of Beaufort, and they are now they're the prominent race, and the mayor refers to them as a quiet community. A most peculiar thing of the quarterfage in his book on the human race assertions. The fact that I ain't saying Africans, we know they ain't Africans, but this is the spin on it. It's saying the fact that the Africans lived on these islands long before the discovery of America by Christopher Columbus. He is the high authority, and he says that the Yamasi Indians were Negroes. I don't need to say no more. That's all I wanted to share. That was for the brother right there.
Bro, y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you nonetheless.
Yep.
All right, because I got one earpiece in. Bro, A1, you've been breaking this shit down for years, bro. I think you, A1, did you forget some of the stuff you done dropped, yo? You done put out so much information.
You gonna remind
That's a
me and
question for
shit.
you. Huh?
Nah, I
Well,
mean, you know I've been dropping this shit for years. These niggas,
yeah, that's
a
what I
lot of this
think.
shit
I think you done
it had to
forgot
be
more than niggas
repetitive.
done know, bro. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You done shut the whole thing down before I think these niggas come around new thinking niggas new to this shit. So
Man,
when we trying to
peace
push
to the God,
the
nonetheless, man. Peace to the God, nonetheless. Been around for a long
peace
time,
of
man. It's one of
God,
my
yo.
good brothers. Always supporting the brothers, man. Always coming through with the conversation. Been here from day one, man. So peace to the God, nonetheless, man. Peace.
Peace, God. Appreciate it,
Yeah,
yo.
man, shout out to nonetheless, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to the
A1.
229 in the chat too, man.
Yeah,
Smack
peace
that like
everybody in the
button.
chat too, yo. Peace, AP.
I
Yo,
think
it
Shout
just
nonetheless was the first one to
out,
buy one of my T-shirts. Word up,
yo,
the
you know
Black
what? I
Indian
was the
joint.
first one to buy one of them, and I was the first one to buy Chief shit. As soon as he put the
Yeah.
website, he sent me the email, the text, right? And I bought one. The 2 a.m., yo. Yeah, he got some new shit out too. But yo, this is what I think people don't understand, right? And it's the fact that maybe we never broke it down, right? And maybe that's up to me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do my part too as far as building. It's just I don't have the patience y'all got. You know what I'm saying? Like you, AP, A1, y'all got patience with these niggas, yo. I don't. I'm like one of them teachers, like nigga, you don't. I'm banging on the chalkboard, like y'all don't get this fucking equation. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably get fired. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, bro, like when you all you gotta do is look at it like this. We know that people are lying, bro. If they lying to you about the Bible, what you think they're not lying to you about your history for? Right? So why are you believing them? So automatically you should not believe them. Now you gotta use your common sense because we already know with 13 colonies, which means what's colonization? That means that's commercial. They have a certain district, a certain part of that land that they're doing commerce in, bro. And how in the world was they fighting against the British? Who's in cahoots with the United States? Who's the number one ally for the United States of America? Britain. So how was
Mhm.
they getting independence from them, bro? We
Yep.
already proved that indentured service was coming to the colonies, but there's a whole different other area where other slaves was going to.
Mhm.
Was these people, was that private slavery or was it being regulated through the colonies? Evidently the colonists wanted to monopolize the trade routes so that these indentured servants don't go outside of the colonies and then become more powerful than them. Here comes the Civil War. So now they're making it illegal for you to get white slaves, bro, off outside of the colonies. But that happened in the Revolutionary War. What they did was they freed the white slaves and they brought them out into the 13 colonies after they united. It took them a while to do it. So now you got these classifications or caste system. First it was Negro de Terra, which means Negroes of the land. That's what it first, and then all they did was cut off the deterrent and started calling you Negroes because all of us are victims of war. So now you do have tribes that disappeared because you had children or men and women who no longer had their tribe because they got killed or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? So they started calling you Negroes. Now they start putting this caste system calling you citizen whites and non-whites. At first it was whites because they was a part of the citizenship of the colonies through the United States. Then they switched it from non-whites, whites to non-whites to whites and blacks. White meaning you a citizen, black meaning you're not a citizen. That's what it means. And none of y'all can prove that black mean you a citizen. Everybody knows, and this ain't no Moors shit. The Moors do build on this, but they're right. We're acting like these niggas ain't right when they say that black means you're not a citizen. That's 100% fact. And can none of y'all niggas prove that black is a citizen? What that mean though? Okay, let's go deeper. That means that all of these leaders that y'all pump up, all these niggas y'all say, oh, these was African, our leaders. Why y'all dogging them? Because they're sellouts. You want to know why they're sellouts? Because the white protected their people under the citizenship, under a commercial agreement called the Articles of Incorporation, which makes them members of the United States. The blacks, however, are not citizens, which means they have no rights at all. They have privileges. That's it. And none of these black leaders protected blacks at all. They never did it. Why? Because they're in bed with the fucking people that they're calling white, which means that they're probably classified as the same classification. Like, what are y'all niggas talking about, bro? None of our people are protected under this corporate structure. And y'all still want to uplift these leaders when they had 200, 100, 200 years to fix it, and they never did. We're here letting y'all know that we need to fix this shit. And these niggas hop on the panels giving us backlash, bro.
Nah,
Like, what
that's
the
true.
fuck?
That's true though. That's true. You just dropped some heat, man. Shout out to my brother nonetheless who stay coming with that fucking heat, man. I'm talking about bullseye. You understand me? A1 though. Let me ask you a question, brother. I got this debate
Let me
lined
share
up
my
with
screen
Rob
on while
on.
you talk.
I got this
Yeah,
debate with Rob on coming up. They trying to line up some other people on this motherfucker. Who you want to catch a fade with
yeah,
and smoke?
man. Man, I want Onk and the Amon Rod squad and Jabari. Since Garfield don't want to debate, Garfield already made it clear he don't want to debate or whatever. So I want one of them. I want, definitely the Amon
Yeah, Garfield told us
Rod
today.
squad because we got to revisit on what's the name, the pyramids and shit. So we got some unfinished business with that. They already got smoked on that, but I want the shit to be documented. You can hear me? You
Yeah, I can hear you. Peace,
okay? There you go.
everybody.
Look,
Can
I'm
y'all
gonna
hear me?
share. Yeah,
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 we
yeah. You got an
Peace, brother.
echo.
I've been
Yeah,
on here before. I just changed my name. It used to be B Triple X. I came up here because there was an agent up here named Zab. Oh man, he talks different on every panel. We had a little debate, and he kept saying there was no Negroes here prior to 1501, and I proved it. And because this panel he was on is a lot of stupid people, and they was agreeing with him. I'm sorry. Yeah, but he's going. You know what? Never mind. He's going. But a couple of things.
No. Hold on. Hold on. Somebody got some bad feedback. I think it's you, brother Monarch. But I'm gonna mute you while Zab respond to you because he's on the panel, and I don't know if you can fix your mic, fix the echoing, but I'm gonna let Zab respond to that. Go ahead, Zab. You said when them Negroes were before that certain time frame, brother.
Yeah, when I first came here, and everybody knows this, I issued a challenge. I said, prove to me that there were Negroes here in America prior to 1501. I still got the video up. Now, while going and debating and finding out research, listening to dudes like Ahuna and other dudes, I did my own research. And then I found upon the research that, they do, like, this is very interesting. So I did a little digging, and I found out that there was melanated people here. But B Triple, you yourself, you were unable to prove this to me when we debated because you slow. You was a dummy. So I did my own research myself, and I figured it out. I tell everybody, I don't have no horse in this race. I'm not no Pan-African. I'm not no Aboriginal. I'm just somebody out seeking the truth, wherever the truth leads me to. I'm not part of no cult. I'm not part of no organization. I'm just looking for the real information. That's where I go.
Why are you here? Why are you here? You on other panels, you're the one that's slow and stupid. You talk crazy on other panels because the host is not in the know. The people that and they're not in the know, you're slow. You're on different panels saying different things. First you're Jamaican, now you're American. Then you try to put that shit on me. And I proved to you over and over again, and I left the panel because you're an idiot. Yeah, I don't know why are you here? Why are you always in these Aboriginal spaces? You want to learn. Don't try to battle anybody. If you want to learn. If you're not in the know, you're not in the know. Everybody's not in the know. Don't come with this nonsense like you somebody. Just knock it off, man. You an agent. You know you a fucking agent. Because you say different things on different panels. When I showed you the definition of America, and what you say, oh, this is created by the Nuwapians and all these different people. They come from Webster's. Webster's been around for over 100 years.
First of all, what this agent talk, like, you really think that we outside and they got people walking around in like motherfucking wires and shit? Nigga, this is YouTube. This agent talk that you putting on me don't make no sense.
Yeah.
And I'm very transparent with my information. You asked why I'm here.
You're an idiot. You kept saying, let me go to Chat GPT. Let me go to Chat GPT. You don't know anything. You an idiot.
I'm looking for the truth. I'm looking for the information. I don't believe in a lot of the narratives that's out there. So I'm gonna go wherever the information takes me to. I'm not a, like I said, I'm not a Pan African. I'm not with the African shit. I'm not a Jamaican. Yes, I have Jamaican
Yeah, you are
heritage,
Jamaican. You
but
are Pan African. You said we all come from Africa.
I was
Stop
born
it. You
in New
kept
York.
saying we all come from Africa. Oh,
You
when you
saying
was on the
shit that
other
people
panel,
don't already
you
know,
kept
bro.
saying that. Knock it off. You kept saying
Hey,
we
yo,
from
hey, yo,
Africa.
hey, yo, fellas. Hey, listen. The brother then he didn't kind of change his stance on a lot of that stuff because he over here building with us, and he's not in disagreement. He's not creating, you know what I'm saying, nuisance. He's not arguing back and forth between us. So whatever the brother said, maybe the brother have learned, and he's just, you know what I'm saying, he done evolved when it comes to this information. So I can
Right.
definitely vouch for that. You know what I'm saying? So let the brother.
Right. And like I said, a lot of people does say a lot of erroneous shit in the form of information when coming from a learning standpoint. So there will be things that people say in the earlier stages that they'll recant on. And oftentimes for you, brother Monarch, in those situations, instead of putting down them, it becomes an aha moment or I told you so moment. You know what I'm saying? It should make you feel good that you was ahead of the curve. So let's continue with this information. I appreciate you two brothers for coming on too as well. Appreciate you.
Fair enough. Just real quick, did you see Henry Louis Gates joking about the DNA? Saying he went to the guy. Oh, okay, you seen that.
Yeah, I seen
You
it
seen
going
it
all
going all
around
around.
Instagram. Yeah, that's going around everywhere on Instagram, making fun of the whole DNA shit. It's a few little things out there about DNA that's out there. It's getting crazy. We got my brother 111 Truth on here. What's going on, 111? We got Smoke Signal in here. What's going on, Smoke?
I got a question.
We got C Moses in here as well. We got C Moses. What's going on, C Moses?
What up? What up?
What's going on with it?
I got a question too. I know someone said they got a question, so I was gonna wait for them.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you get it in. You've been waiting patiently. Go ahead, C Moses. You got the floor, brother.
I jumped in because you was talking about how basically we all got to come with the same narrative. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you was making sure that we was on the same accord when it comes to the history.
Yeah, we got to have a general consensus, and if someone feels like their stance is stronger or their information is correct, and someone disagrees with that, the best way to do that is often in a debate format, letting the viewers be the peer reviews of the information, and then see if they come with the same conclusion, and then we later revisit that topic.
But here's why I don't think I even disagree. I agree with that though. Let me say that right.
Go ahead.
I disagree with that simply because some people, like the way I've always seen this, and I'm coming into the truth in recent times, but I had always known there was something wrong with what they was teaching us, right? And that's just my spirit that's telling me this don't make sense, this not right, yada yada. Like I always felt like I've been here from family stories, everything, that whole thing. But I think the same thing can be said for people who do feel like they from Africa. Maybe their family is from Africa or from an island or from all these other areas. Like sometimes they telling their truth. So how could we don't all have the same story?
Hey, real quick.
That's correct, but I don't think no one's telling someone that they ain't. The reason we get backlash, or it often seems like a debacle, is because we're taking a stance to talk about who we are. So it started with one person saying, "Oh well, I'm not from Africa," and I have the proof behind that. And then the next person, well, I actually agree with that. I have proof pertaining to that as well. Then it becomes a larger conversation into what we see today. So we're not telling anyone who they are. We're just talking about who we are. And it's a conglomerate of people in America that doesn't know who they are, that eventually will be coming into knowledge of who they are. And if you're stimulating from the Americas, and you want to learn more about your ancestral contributions, you want to know more about your ancestral history, traditions, and culture, then that's what I provide on this platform. But we're not here to tell you who you are or who you aren't.
Yeah, hey, but just to keep it a bug though, bro. Hey, man, peace to everybody too. I heard you too, bro. I was talking to this realist. You feel me? Salute to everybody. The problem is though, on some G shit, what the brother said though, is exactly what happened to a lot of people over here. That like how AP was saying, like, oh man, I got this in my family, yada yada. The next person, oh me too. But the motherfuckers that's been given the spotlight, pushing the narrative that's been going on for a long time, they didn't like that because it went against what the fuck they was teaching. And then they started trying to tell other people who the fuck they are. And when people didn't accept that and came with their own story about who they truly are, that was a problem. And now this is where all this back and forth shit really started at. Because, at one point niggas was still on the same page, like, yeah, it was niggas all around the world. But I'm these niggas over here. And then when niggas started saying that they these, we from over here, the narrative pusher motherfuckers got mad. It's like, nah, you niggas some coons, y'all some self-hating Africans. Like, man, nobody got no issue
Yeah,
with no
we're
Africans,
self
bro.
we become self haters, self us African self haters once we start self identifying with who we truly are, which I think is which is erroneous. You see what I'm saying? So we're
Right.
just only here to establish certain principles of who we are as Americans, Aboriginals, and ones that agree with that, ones that has lineage ties here, ones that has proof and data that supports their claim that goes with my claim. And I'm here to teach the history of that. Now, people can be conditioning and confused based off of artificial history that has been inserted and that has been passed down, and one could talk about who they are, and even though it's false, and I may know the truth about it being false, and then I can elaborate on that. You see what I'm saying? And that wouldn't be me telling them who they are. That just be me telling them who they ain't for sure. You see what I'm saying? So, and
Let me add to that when you drop the mic.
go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, let me get some of that too.
I want to
Look,
let the brother respond too, because it's a lot that we're saying. So I do want to allow him to respond as well.
No, drop what you was gonna say. I mean, I want to add to it, but I think we all got something to add. So I'm not disagreeing. There's just more to it because we're talking about where you are originally from, right? But even up into say the 1900s, there's still a different storyline as far as who your people were, even on the land down in whatever where your people were from.
Let me ask you a question, brother C Moses, and I'm glad you're on here. Before I ask you a question, I want to allow A1 to say what he was wanting to say first. Because I want to ask some things about you and get to understanding your perspective, so I can better engage on this conversation. Go ahead, A1.
let me share my screen again. I just want to elaborate on something that was just said. All right, let me know if I'm clear too, man, because I don't want to be going through all this shit if
Nah,
I'm
you're
not clear.
clear, A1.
We'll definitely let you know when you ain't clear,
All right,
brother. I promise you.
so here it is. We back at these people's pseudo site, slavesvoyage.org, right? So we back here again, right? After years, I haven't been on here in years, right? So put the search engine in 100-year periods. We put the Collins in the disembarkation regions and only embark, right? So right here, what it's saying is these are the places. Well, it's not showing where they disembarked. No, disembark. Disembark would be where they came from. Embark will be where they going, right? So right here, you got different countries up here. You got Europe, mainland of America, British Caribbean, French Caribbean, etc. But we're interested with this right here, mainland of North America, all right? So let's deal with this. Now, this is according to their records, right? 1601 through 1700s, they brought 2,176 so-called Africans here, right? According to them. 1701 to 1800s, they brought 660, 858 Africans, and from 1801 to the 1900s, they brought 66,376 Africans, which make a total of 135 and 410 so-called Africans brought here entirely, right? So you see the number, right? They done changed it now, right, to 135,410 people that was brought here from the 1600s to the 1900s, right? Now, me, I don't believe that. I believe that these people are white people, and they're playing with the identities. They get changing the identities up. But let's go a little further, right? This is something I got right here that I've been, just a little curious about, right? Its title is say how many people were here before Columbus, right? It's only a few certainties that the Indian population of North and South America suffered a catastrophic collapse after 1492, right? But we know that this is all bullshit, but the numbers that they're using is all in the areas where our people was at. So I just found that very interesting, right? So look, so they got it split up. Let me open it up a little bit right there. So they got north of the Grande. We already know who the people they said was north of the Grande in Mexico, but I'm not going to get into that. But right here in our section from the southeast, right? From the southeast all the way right here to the Mississippi. Right here where it say the Mississippi, they said three. It was, well, remember, this is only an estimate, okay? But this at least to give you an idea of what the experts are saying and how many people was here, right? But so right here. So I say nearly all scholars estimate of the New World 1492 population fall between the count of two anthropologists, Alfred Kerber, 1934 estimate of 8.4 million, and Henry Dobbin is saying 1966 estimate of 112.5 million people throughout the Americas, right? So look, right here, we dealing with this right here. Right here, just on the southeast, from Canada all the way down to probably, I say that this probably VA right here or Maryland area, right? They saying that this region right here will have like anywhere between 25 million people right here because it goes down, so it adds throughout the South, right? But just in this region right here, because we say right here, just from the Midland of America, which this is like most of the South region right here. This would be like from St. Louis, Chicago region all the way down to like the Carolinas and back into Florida region, right? They say it's 13.5 million people, right? And then right here, they saying it's 100,000 people within this confine of Central America on the Iberian Peninsula, right? But the total, he's saying 112.5 million people. Now, I'm not saying it was 112.5 million people here, right? But what I am saying is that it has to be at least over 80 million people, according to, how we looking at it. And we gotta definitely have a sense to, not always buy into everything, but be reasonable and be rational when they making these estimates, right? So look, in this region right here, now we know we ain't go nowhere. We been here. And the population of us have always been over 10 million people, even though that they play with the numbers. But from whatever time that they can count until now, you know what I'm saying? We exceed 60 million people or more. You know what I'm saying? But from the time that these people from the 1600s all the way into the 1800s, we was at the larger 10 million percentile, or even between 10 million and 20 million people, right? So you think right here, right? We go back to slavevoid.org, right? 135,000 people, them niggas ain't got no culture. If Africans did come here, 135,000 people, 410 people, their culture would have been engulfed with the culture that was already here. So nobody has a fucking African story. All of this shit is bullshit. I'm done.
Go ahead, see Moses.
Oh damn, my bad. I was trying to hop back over. Y'all hear me?
Yup.
Yeah. Hey hey one yo what you think about this, right? And or anybody on the panel, right? Because okay, if you go, we talking about let's just identify these wars, right? The major one, the two major one is the Revolutionary War and the Civil War, right? Now in those wars, we already know that it was people fighting on the side of the so-called British, and it was people fighting on the side of the people here, right? Now, what I think people really don't build on our side and on the Pan African side is those people from Africa that came over to fight. You see what I'm saying? because we can prove that it was people over here that was fighting on behalf of either the British or the people over in America, right? Because when you look at the Fifth Regiment, African Fifth Regiment, right? A lot of them came over here to fight. You know what I mean? So these wasn't just slaves. See, the thing about they talking about self-hate, they always associate Africa with slavery, as if those people wasn't over there fighting. You know what I'm saying? As well. So what they never identify who was over there fighting, what they was fighting for, and who they was fighting against. You know what I mean? It's always this mysterious shit with them. You know what I'm saying? And they leave a lot of blanks. You know what I mean? And fill in the blank shit. You know what I'm
Them
saying?
people didn't go. They didn't go into Africa because they was too busy with the Americas. Their army was not that strong to where it can go on the west coast of Africa. If if if,
Exactly.
if the Barbary coast was infested with pirates, bro, there's no way that they got to go through the Pillars of Hercules to get to West Africa. So they're
Right.
fighting back and forth. So what I just showed right there, right? This was for the brother that was on the screen. I mean, the brother that said something about, some of the people resonate as being African. A lot of them resonate being African because they brainwashed. They're not Africans unless they got direct. I don't want to hear no DNA shit. Show me some genealogy connecting yourself to an African. Please. I don't want to hear nothing about no DNA. I don't want to hear nothing about a DNA. Show me your genealogy and show me something in your genealogy that says your people was a slave and your people came from Africa. You ain't
Hey,
never
but
going to find it.
But this is what I think kind of brought it back up to surface, right? That what I was just talking about. When Sir Drop said he talked to the Somalian guy the other day, and he said that their family gets money to come over here, you know what I mean, a certain like 15 bands or something a month, right? And he said that his people came over to America to fight us. That's what his
And
ancestors
that's
said,
what
right?
they did. That's what
But
the fuck they did if you
but
think
A1,
about it.
here's where everybody has to deal with though, because okay, if they can't, we defeated them and we had plantations of course, and this is where the Pan African disingenuous, because yeah, if they fought us and we enslaved them because they came over here to fight us and we put them on a plantation, that had to be taken into consideration. You see what I'm
No,
saying?
he not talking about then. He talking about now, bro. They bring these immigrants in your neighborhood, so if shit do kick off, they're going to
But
fight for them.
And
that's
they
a
bring them over to
tradition though.
That's
confuse
what
you.
he's
That
saying.
but
That's
that,
what he's
that
saying.
but don't you think like that's always been happening?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
But
different now. It's different now because a lot of what they're doing now is just for the confusion. Well, before we're talking about really fighting.
Right,
bro,
right.
So
our
right now,
our
it's
family.
right now it's straight spiritual. So it's all to confuse you. Oh, let's go to this protest. So we in a war, but like they're able to disguise
Right,
what
right,
side they
right.
really on. So we don't know what the fuck is going on. That's why it's like I still try to really understand. As you try to say, hey, I want to know where you're coming from. I try to really identify a person, like where's your spirit at? Where's your head at? How far have you done any genealogy? Do you know we being lied to? If that person is telling me the same shit from the book and that's just a brainwashed person, if we really in a war, they don't know what the fuck is going on. But you got to be able to identify a person the same way 200 years ago. You walk up on somebody, it's where are you from? Who's your people? What, you know what I'm saying? But it's
Right.
definitely not black and white. I know I'm
But
mixing a
that's
lot of different things.
but look, but bro, that's my point. My point is they try to hide the fact that those people was also now look, okay, it's kind of like okay, it's like common sense. Maybe some of them did come up. We ain't gonna argue that fact. Some of them did come over as slavery, the work. But they're trying to throw out that saying that all Africans came over here with slaves when that's not the case. Some came to fight us. You see what I'm saying? They came over here intentionally to take our shit. You see what I'm saying?
So
There
who
was
are they fighting for? Or who are they fighting with? Because, and this is another thing, when you talk about fighting and then the slavery thing, and this will let you know where my understanding is, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is where I'm at. All of the culture of the South, to me, was there slavery? Yes, to the degree that like we got some land, you till the soil here. It's a community. It's not whipping. I can't like have the direct storylines of the way that the slavery was in the book, and I can see that in my mind as to how it actually transpired.
Where you from? Where you
But
from,
big
bro?
bro,
So
Hold
right
on,
now,
wait.
so my
Wait.
people,
Where you
right,
from?
my people,
Where you from? Yeah,
my people,
yeah.
South Carolina. I'm in
Okay.
Connecticut. I was born in Virginia, but so I
wait a
got
minute.
a
All right. So let's stay with South Carolina.
right. So let me
Okay.
tell you
Let's
this
stay with
though. And
South.
so my great grandfather owned 100 acres of land in South Carolina. He had black people
Okay.
and white people working on that land for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
that's why I
he
just
would have been
throw.
considered a slave owner.
But
Right.
and through the storylines, he's not like the slave owner that is in root.
No, he employing people to manifest the so-called produce so it can be sold and
Exactly.
Right.
bartered.
Right. That's
And but these people couldn't own land. White people couldn't own land here. That's what the Civil War was about. The Civil War was going back to what the great Lord Peace say: no foreigner can own land here on this continent. So when they
Hey,
had the Civil War, wait. So when they had the Civil War freed them. They was nomadic. So a lot of them had to come work back when they say that they resold themselves back into slavery, meaning that these people, after they got free, they ain't had nowhere to go. So the only thing they could do is go back to the plantations where they came from. But go ahead.
no, my bad, yo. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad I let you finish, bro. I appreciate what you just said because that's my point that I wanted to bring up. Because you have something called voluntary and involuntary servitude. You see what I'm saying? And I think that people don't really study those two systems enough to understand what that is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about that person individual status, and it's all about their mentality. And are they working for the greater good of their own people or working for a foreign entity? You see
well,
what I'm
see that.
saying?
Yeah, but that's hard to really understand. Like when you
I
say,
know it's hard, bro, but we have in order to understand the context of what happened, you
yeah.
have to understand that. You see
Okay,
what I'm
but
saying?
greater good of your people means what?
Okay, to establish your worth and to build generational wealth for your people, to leave them something in a system that they can be a part of outside of foreign influence. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
if you don't, you're gonna have these foreigners like predators trying to bring people into their system, and they're gonna be servants to them for life. You know what I'm saying? Without any chance of being free.
All right. I yes and no. So here's where my disagreement is, because a lot of the way you got to play the game right now is within the foreign system, because the original system is not established, and whatever we were holding on to, there's no real leadership to say, all right, this is standing like 10 toes down against the outsider, whatever. So
Because it is.
right
Because it
now
is.
it's kind of everybody's like disguised and playing a game within a system that we know is not run by the people who are supposed to be running it.
You want to know why though, bro? Because commerce is war. We're still see when people think wars is with guns and fighting and being no. When we in commerce and this trade and fiat, this is a war. We're
Yeah,
still
so yeah,
that's a war. You see what I'm saying?
I
So
do, and when it comes to the fiat, that's why this is a completely
right.
different game, because in the last
Yeah,
100 years
exactly.
we went
Yep,
over to the
exactly.
fiat. Before that, if we could have our own community, food, yada yada, and we good. But right now, because of the money and it's going digital, but the money that we I still might be wrong, but the way that I understand it, there's some truth in it. When we made a deal with other people, okay, this money and the resources that had way more value then than it does today. The money,
Yeah, we supposed to have us as a people. We supposed to have commercial properties from fucking Maine all the way through Florida, and from Florida all the way through Texas, and all the way up through the fucking Great Lakes, right? We supposed to have commercial properties on our own land, renting it out to these foreigners. That's the only way we supposed to be doing anything. And having our own produce and doing trades with other people that we got in Florida, because everything grows in America. You know what I'm saying? Most of the shit you get, we don't like. What do you eat? You eat a fucking star fruit or one of them what's the names that they got in the Caribbean? Like, we don't really eat too much of that. We keep it basic to the stuff that's in America. A lot of shit grow in Florida, bro. Everything grows in Florida for the most part. So if we doing trades from Florida all the way through the South. You know what I'm saying? And see, they broke that system up. They broke that system up because they knew we was relying upon that to survive. And they created this fake pseudo commercial, because commerce is really dealing with commodities, with things people need.
Well, the fake part, I think, is just that whole slave narrative as being something that is anti-black.
Bro, you get said your grandfather he was in charge of black people and white people.
And I'm still going through it because that land is in a trust. Now, the problem is I got family that has the ability to open it up and let's figure it out, but they just don't know what's going on. So, like, I'm fighting against my own people. Again, not even fighting, but it's just like,
so you ain't got nobody to help you with that?
I mean, I just got some information. I'm still in it. So now here's another part of the story. So
you see my email in the back right there, right?
And so hold on, let me just share this just because this is a big piece of it. Because he bought the land from some dude. So this guy had 1,000 acres of land. His last name was Hanahan. And then I found out that my grandfather bought 100 acres from him and put it in a trust. Now that trust is still there, but I don't know how to interpret, like, all right, how did this happen? And I don't know if I'm gonna get it, if I can get the paperwork of the trust and then read it out. But my story is only a microcosm of what's going on. But I don't know if we need to go.
The trust have to be left to somebody. So the way you would do it, if the person that the trust was left to is not alive, you will link yourself to that person by genealogy.
So
and
there
you
is
will
someone
show them
that's living on the land right now.
Okay, but they should be in that trust. Their name should be in that trust. Because the trust ain't nothing but a will.
All right, so the trust, right? So the trust from my great grandfather was left to all of his kids, and how do I explain this? There's one person who's living on the land who knows all about the 90 whatever acres, but she's keeping everything close to her chest.
That's your family?
Family, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, you got rights to the land too, right? She ain't got sole rights to it, right?
So I'm not in the trust. My grandmother is the daughter, so she's in the trust.
Okay, so you link yourself to your grandmother because your grandmother would have left it to you, or left it to her children.
I mean, this is the part of the story that if we're gonna talk, let's take it off here, just because I want to speak to a larger.
Nah, hey, bro, we ain't got time for all that today, bro. I put my email in the back chat or whatever. You can email me, and I can find somebody who can help you that legitimately help you get your shit back. If that's the direction you want to go.
Well, that's where I want to go in this conversation, because is that where we need to go in order to do what we need to do?
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather have 100 acres of land or be slaving on what you do for a living?
This is my whole point, because that's where I was going to bring it in. The company that I've worked for 3 companies since college. They're all headquartered in London. That to me was like, it just brought up like, yo, these aren't the people. This isn't even the system that we're supposed to be moving on. Foreign companies, people like myself working for foreign companies.
Okay, so it should be in your best interest to try to get part of that land, so you can make some business decisions and you can rent the land out or whatever you want to do with the land. But you have to be industrious when you get the land. You just can't get the land and just be out there in the hammock with motherfucking lemonade and just looking at the land. Nah, you got to find businesses that'll be willing to, if that's what you want to do. Maybe you want to build houses on it, but you want to put something on the land that's going to be bringing you money to where you can't keep that money generating to where you can't keep the land up.
Oh, all right. So I hear you. I think just as important is the people, because if you look at like the chat, and this is not to like discredit anybody, but the people look at like, I don't even know how to explain where my head is when I think of the people that would be that are who get it. They look at their comments will be just negative and they're confrontational, and it's
Hey, look, let me tell you something. Since I've been around here, you know what the biggest thing been? Worrying about everybody else. You got a remedy for yourself. Forget the people in the chat room. Half the people in the chat room is still an African American. They've been knowing about this Indian shit for years, and they haven't told the universe or made a declaration to themselves or to the government and corrected their classification. So it's like, you have to worry about yourself at this point in time. Is that everybody is not going to be in agreement. So you got the land, 100 acres. You figure your grandmother would have had at least a quarter of that, so that got you 25 acres. So now you need to move from there, unless you want to be on that plantation for them London companies that you're working for. So that should be the main concern. So from this time, it's 419. Your main thing when you got spare time is to find out how you gonna get them acres.
Mm-hmm.
You
Hey,
understand?
bro,
That's it.
when you look at it, right, bro, what's you gotta look at your ancestors and look at what they done, right? Now in the surface, you said one of your ancestors left your family land in trust, right?
yeah.
Correct, right? Okay, I heard you say that, right? Now, what should that tell you? What should that tell you? Now your ancestors now communicating with you right now. They've been long gone, right? God rest their soul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The Most High. Now they're communicating with you right now. What do you see right now? You're seeing that they left your family land in trust. That should tell you that trust is very important, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, so that means that you gotta learn. See, nobody can do that but you, because you're the one that should know what's in that trust. So all you gotta do is learn trust, what it means, how to create a trust indenture, right? Understand how the pyramid of a trust works with the executive trustor, the trustees and the beneficiaries. See, not only do you gotta know who is in charge of that land, who is left for it. Right now, they're right now those seats are vacant right now, right? So you know that there's no trustee, board of trustees right now, right? But you got to know who's living, but you also got to know who the descendants are. It's not just you; it's the children. You know what I mean? Your cousin, your little cousins in them. You feel what I'm saying?
I
So,
do.
right. So now you know who the beneficiaries are. So you can work from backwards, from the children on up to the oldest, or the oldest down to the youngest. So you already got a head start. You already know that trust is very important, because your ancestors are already talking to you right now, left you documents. So he's telling you, y'all need to know about trust. You feel what I'm saying?
I do, and that definitely when I found out that it's in a trust, and once it's in a trust, there's nothing, there was nowhere for it to go. It's gonna stay there, even though.
Okay, look, hold up. And what does that mean? Hold up. What does that mean when it says there's nowhere it can go? What kind of trust is that? That means that is an irrevocable trust.
But okay, I hear you. But this is the part where that's why I will look at the chat, or like I think about people.
It might have been revocable up until the time of unless his father gave instructions to allow it to be a revocable trust.
So what ended up happening.
The trust can't be activated until you activate it with another trust. So in order to activate the trust, the old trust, you must now get an updated trust with updated trustees to activate the old trust. You see what I'm saying? It's not like a corporation.
But first, he got to get permission that he can do that. Because if he do that, that shit is fraud, and he get caught out there,
You mean for other family members?
yeah, he got to link his genealogy to whoever was on that trust.
No, it's not linked my genealogy. That's my uncles, and so it's my grandmother and all her siblings.
Okay, so
it's not even a link. It's easy. It's
so
right there.
okay, so I mean,
but my family doesn't understand this. This is where I'm trying to. That's why I'm like,
have to put us. You gonna have to get you a motherfucking projector screen and do a fucking seminar and show them what's going on. You're gonna have to sit them all down. You know, maybe buy some wine or buy some motherfucking fried chicken from one of these Arabs and shit, and you know, make some macaroni salad and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, make some macaroni salad. Get you a can of motherfucking
cobbler and shit.
Glories, fucking collard greens, nigga, and throw a party.
Some corn, some turkey.
Yeah, do the projection screen joint. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what's going on. That's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to do it in a way to where you're gonna have to be very patient with them, because this shit right here burn a hole in your head. Because the fact that we've been deceived, and that's a whole that's a whole nother different conversation. The fact that you've been deceived and you've been tricked, and the motherfucker tell you, no, you're not from over here. You from Africa. You know how fucking fragrant that is for a motherfucker to tell you from a whole nother continent, nigga, when your people was naturally here. So it's like, you're gonna have to get creative, my dude. We can't help you. You know what I'm saying? I just gave you some good game to run with or whatever. If the trust is that easy to establish, to access, then you got to get busy, my dude. You got to put that work in to manifest that shit. So you know what I'm saying. So this year, I mean, by this time next year, you'll be chilling. You know what I'm saying, or you'll be in the process of making them plans, so you will be chilling permanently. You know what I'm saying? The key is, you're going to be doing work and everything, but you always should have that motherfucking hammock with that lemonade in it chilling while you watching the other people work. That's the goal of it. That's how these crackers do it. What the fuck you think Bill Gates doing? He's snipping one of them Japanese plants right now? Or he eating sushi and shit? Come on, man. The motherfuckers they put in work into their hobbies. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, they don't really do no real work. They just generate money. And that's how we supposed to be living.
A1, since let me segue, and forgive me, didn't want to step on your wisdom. How does a one billionaire get $1 billion from a billion motherfuckers?
Say that one more time.
People use such a term. How does a billionaire get $1 billion from a billion motherfuckers? $1 from a billion people. See, we don't even think about the words that we're saying. You feel me? And this whole process, and thanks for the access and the invitation. Keep them running. Copper Color Grizzly. C. Moses, is that who is asking that question?
Yeah.
Let me use this example. And personally, you kind of want to pin on that because you don't want to be discussing your personal stuff in a public space. But let me give you an example, and anyone on the panel will respond to it. Are you familiar with the Ocoee Massacre?
Say it again.
The Ocoee Massacre, Ocoee, and on the election day of 2020 was the 100th anniversary of the election day massacre of Julius July Perry. Now, this was someone that sounds like your grandfather. Right now, today, and I think it's about 400 acres, so we can use the magnifier of 40 acres and a mule, so 10 times that amount of land, has operating on it today, which is owned by Coca-Cola, headquarters in Atlanta, a Minute Maid orange juice factory. Now, just to take the example that you made, A1, should they not be being paid right now, if not monthly, weekly, or daily from Coca-Cola? Now, by the way, this is all known, documented, not only the state of Florida. Everybody is aware this land was outright stolen from this particular people. And the land itself is on the doorstep of Orlando. You feel what I'm saying, A1? Now, I would suggest that there is the prospect and an opportunity for each and every one of us Aboriginal Americans to be collecting a check, a stipend, what do you call that? Subsidy in a similar fashion as Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Mr. Amazon. But because of our ignorance, we have yet to declare this land is not our land. It's not your land. From California to the New York Island. You feeling me, A1?
Mm-hmm.
So until we do such, being the landlord, these errant tenant motherfuckers needs to be cutting the check. And the check is being cut, but you know it's not going into our account, right?
Yeah.
This is why we can't progress and move forward when we keep having this back to Africa bullshit conversation going on.
Yeah, I just wanted to come up and say real quick to like the brother that he was just talking about, because I kind of feel the same contention, like in regards to even how we even look at money. Like oftentimes where I get in these conversations and I bring up the fact that yeah, we do got land or we do want to make moves, you hear a lot of people shooting it down, saying it's fiat money, it's the corporation money, we don't need the money. It's a lot of confusion. That's what I'm saying. Like it gotta
It
be
ain't. Listen,
one accord.
listen, right?
Like
Check
is the
this out.
money good? Is the money not good? Like
All right, all
what's
right,
No, well, hold on.
wait,
Put a pin. I don't know if he was
wait.
responding directly to me, A1, but let's put a pin on the money for a moment. My issue is the land itself. First and foremost, no land can be sold, no matter how we're being convinced of the corporate fraudulent activity that is going on. Now, the stuff that's being used, which is currency, not money, is an entirely different issue than what is in the Constitution as money. And there's only one that is minted gold and silver coin.
I understand
So,
that.
okay, so I'm trying to understand what it is you're asking right now.
All right. Well,
See,
let me clear
what is
that.
the
Hold up.
difference?
Zab, hold up. Let me just clear that point up. Okay. Now, Ali Bamu just mentioned the 10th Amendment that on all debts be paid in gold and silver, right? So now with the currency, if you know how to maneuver currency, you'll know exactly what to do with it. You can use currency to buy equipment for your land, and also you can use currency to convert it back to gold and silver. So you can take that money that they giving you before they fucking crash the motherfucker, right? And you can go back and buy the precious metals. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you always supposed to be doing with money. You supposed to be transferring that back into gold or silver automatically. Fuck a Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're doing, you can invest in that, but you should
Now
always
let me
invest.
add one thing to what you're saying, A1. I agree with you 100%. Only unfortunately, we'd be dealing with the process with criminals, though. However, I would say this. First and foremost, we should not be buying nor selling or anything with this criminal enterprise. They need to give up their tribute, like to render unto Caesar what is Caesar. You feel what I'm saying? See, conceptually, we got this stuff twisted, is the point that I'm making.
Well, most of the
You feel me?
gold, these people
Plus,
don't own most of the gold,
they
so
don't
you'll be
own they don't
buying that.
own anything. I
Yeah,
got you. And I'm in agreement with you, A1. What I'm saying is our claiming our land gets all the mineral resources that attached to it accordingly. And any and whatever gold or precious metal is already ours. You understand what I'm saying?
Bro, can I say something real quick, y'all? Um, I think see that I don't really like talking about this. It's not that I'm trying to like not bring this up, but this is not something that you can just learn on a bill. You got to know how the money works and what they're doing when they with the gold. Now understand after 1933 what happened, right? When they confiscated all the gold because the United States was in debt. What the bankers are doing is holding the gold right now, because if they wasn't, then when you get a paycheck, then you would get paid in gold and silver, but they're not doing that. They're giving you receipts of debt that they own. So they, in theory, in a fact, not even in a fact, but you can see it with your own eyes, it tells you that this is legal tender for all debts, public and private, right? So that means that they never paid you, your grandmother, nobody since 1933. These are all IOUs. But since we're using them for money of exchange, not money of account, because you got to know what money of account is versus money of exchange. Right now, our money of account is being held because we haven't been paid in gold. So now they're making it they're making almost mandatory that you know how to offset these debts. You see what I'm saying? And you have a legal right to do that, to offset, to pay in IOUs. That's what the IRS would. If all of us knew what was going on in the IRS, we'd be all rich, because that's how you offset your labor with what is owed. But what we do is we paying double. You see what I'm saying? We're paying double through paying with receipts and paper, on top of what these electric companies, all of these companies are doing, going into
Which
our
are things
accounts.
that we should not be paying, and
Thank
bills
you,
we should
bro.
not be
That's why
paying,
that's
and
why
the
I really like
actual
talking
national
about it.
debt, not to go too far down the rabbit hole,
No, yeah, I
that
got you. I
is
got you. Go ahead.
owed to
Yes.
us and
Yes.
only us. So, see, the point that I'm getting at, nonetheless, and you're absolutely correct. Until we define what American is, even though it's been defined for us and we're ignorant of it, and in the definition used by these criminals, they even acknowledge that the European, not the Asian, not the African, not the Arab, not the Hispanic, the European is stealing our identity currently. You feel me? So until we declare the American that we are by birth and the inheritors to the only original Aboriginal American, can we function and behave in an according fashion? You understand what I'm saying?
See, the money is not the issue, man. Like the brother said, let's say you get the money, you buy the land. You're still gonna have to use commerce on the land, like buying instruments to till the land, all this stuff. To me, the problem is not about the money or the gold. That's like irrelevant. It's almost like it's going into that Moorish mindset where it's like we against the commerce. Like, what are we really saying? It's confusing.
Even the commerce that you're talking about, Zab, and maybe I'm not making myself clear. No matter what is being conducted on our land, only our land, that can be claimed only by the only American. You feel what I'm saying, Zab?
Yeah,
So
I'm with you. I'm
whatever
with you.
business is being conducted without our consent and our authority. So all those transactions are ours. Now, I know this might sound too pie in the sky, and maybe for people listening in the chat, which get confused by what I'm talking about. And it will be a frame of reference that must be shifted, not by them, by us. You feel what I'm saying, Zan?
Yeah, I'm
So
with you.
until we are solid in our understanding and thought and operate confidently from that, all this other shit is going to cause more distress to a people who are ignorant. You feel me? I'm not saying this to discourage the discussion. We're going to have to operate as we operate now until we should be operating the way we should be operating. But if the goal is to get us out of the condition we are in, we have to have our mindset changed in this fashion.
So let me ask you a question, Ali Bamu. Respectfully, right? So the ones who already know what's going on and know who they are, then they should be making progress at least for themselves, not waiting for nobody else to join. So the individuals who know about this, the only way the other individuals is going to, join is by at least the ones that's
Lead by
talking about
example.
Lead by
exactly by lead.
example. Yeah.
Exactly. So that means that you, like I said, with the declaration, and like I said, I ain't no pun intended or no disrespect to none of my brothers and sisters, but this is a real thing though. People know about this shit for a long time, and I had a lot of people, say just like exactly what Ali Bamu said. But they haven't even took the appropriate steps to let these people know who they are. They waiting for other motherfuckers to go so 30, 40 people can go and go do what? I don't get it. It starts with yourself because you have your own genealogy, and your genealogy is different from everybody else. So once you understand what's going on, if this is your so-called goal, or if this is the so-called mission statement, then individuals have to act on their own and be able to share the process with other people. That's the part that everybody's missing. Because we get on these pod strings and I hear people talking or whatever, but for any of this shit to manifest, meaning that you have to reverse the so-called documentation that they already have on you and correct it and tell them who you are going forward. And then, like I said, you share that experience with other individuals. So before you know it, at some point in time, things can change. But until we do that, until the individuals who've been on here every day listening to these podcasts, they have to make the first step. It ain't no we. It starts with the individual itself. Because I've been hearing this we shit for years, and I just be sitting back with my head
Yeah,
on my.
who is we, boss?
That's what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying, Ali Mamu?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, it starts with the individual. We know you, we know. So now get with somebody who can help you at least declare who you are. And that is not going to hurt you to put together an affidavit and put your genealogy on it and get it notarized, get it apostille, and if you can, take it to Washington D.C. and let the United States clerk stamp it. So you'll have 3 different stamps on it. You know what I'm saying? But however it go, you have to send that off to them first and let them know who you are. They're waiting for you.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with you. A1 is just that I'm of two minds about that. I agree with the concept what you're describing. I don't agree with engaging an existing criminal enterprise. Now, I do understand that we have certain levels of awareness here when we're talking with people. Most of these folks on Similac and all these people with the high-minded thing want filet mignon, and you don't do that to a baby, now do you? You know, and this is the predicament. You said it. Ab Power does it. Chief Holiday attempts to, and I love Chief Morning Thunder as an educator that she's making herself into being. Each one teach one. You know that concept. We also understand the mother is the first educator. That's not going to change. The problem is not enough men are being good fathers and being providers and protectors, and so that we'd have a family unit that will be the place that you're talking about, A1. That's where it does need to happen, right? It needs to happen under each and every roof with one person who by default becomes the leader, the historian, and the lane reclaimer. The land reclaimer, because the claims have to be made. Now, I don't mean this kind of bullshit with the paperwork or like claim jumpers back. Remember the gold rush in the 1840s, where they got the 49ers from? That's theft.
Let me ask you a question.
You know what
Let me
claim
ask you a
jumping
question.
was, right? Let me just finish this
Yeah.
and land on this. But you know what claim jumping was? Putting a stick in the ground and saying this shit is mine. Now that's what them foreign invading motherfuckers did. But we can do it when we find where we sprung from and the womb of the woman we came out of. Put your stake there. Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm just
I mean, I
saying,
know, like, I know
if
it's
you
like,
don't think, hold up. Honestly, I'm not with no paperwork. I wish I can go out there and just yell and tell these people who I am and reverse all of the paperwork and all of the things, the different contracts that we already got with these people. So you
Yeah,
have to
I
correct them
know that's
contracts.
not going to
And
happen without action. No, I got you on that, A1. I'm not.
everybody, you have to listen. Ain't no. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you got a farm. Maybe you got a big house. Maybe you got all of your resources right there where you at. Or maybe you have to venture outside, maybe to a fucking fucking gas
No, we
station, mart.
engage. You're right. That's commerce. Like you said, you're going to
But
have
that's
to
what I'm saying.
engage with
So
some other party.
okay, so these people still got documentation on people. They got your social security, they got your birth certificate. But them are contracts, and them contracts are to the United States of America. So if you're not,
Right.
a United States American citizen, right? Because a citizen is different from a
Well,
national
I'm only
from
going to correct one word out of it. Drop the American out of it. They're United States citizens. But go ahead.
well, no, no. I'm saying American is look, the United States of. What is
Of,
of?
yes. But there are no American
What is
citizens.
of?
But I don't want to get into the semantics of
Exactly.
it. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not saying a citizen, period. A citizen belongs to, well, a civilization, right? But however it go, all of these documentations got you tied to the US. And
Right.
as long as you tied to the US, then that means that you are a subject of the US. Now we
Now,
can
I was
sit here and
waiting
be
for
like,
you to say that word, A1. So here's how we change it. And I know we're talking about a mindset, and it takes time to adjust the mentality. We are currently being subjected to oppression using the same word that you said. That citizenship status does not apply to us as the American national or sovereign being that is the descendant of the Aboriginal inhabitants of this land.
Hey, bro, can
Now,
I say?
this doesn't
Oh,
change. Let me just finish this. I'll land my plane on it. This doesn't change because paperwork and the criminal and corrupt corporate enterprise is going on. It will change when we start exercising what that status truly means. But go ahead, brother.
no, real quick, I want to just build on what A1 said earlier, right? Few moments ago, right? And you're right, A1, and I think that people don't understand the seriousness of what we're saying and how much study and understanding you got to have, wisdom and understanding, right? Now, when you mentioned something, and I think that I want people to catch what you said, right? Because Alabama, you said something about the criminal enterprise, and A1 mentioned the notary, and he said, or get it apostille, right? And I think that people don't really understand what that means, because if you go deeper into study, you will see that the notary, you have a case, Alabama, about the criminal element when you get things notarized. But the apostille is a different story, because those are the non-head countries. You know what I mean? The ones that are not involved with the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the countries that are not bankrupt, who fall under this debt corporation system, bro. You know what I'm
Which is
saying?
worldwide. You know that it's worldwide.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? So I think if people got to understand that notary versus apostille. You know what I'm saying? Put your fingerprints as witnesses on documents that you don't necessarily have to submit into no county clerk. You might put a notice that you do have it, but you got to remember, a lot of these documentations are for your private eyes only. Nobody else is to see it. That's between you and all your immediate family to see. You see what I'm saying?
And do
So
you know the confusion that, you're not doing that nonetheless.
no,
I
no, no. Go ahead,
follow
go
you
ahead, go ahead, bro.
clearly on
Yes,
what you're
sir. Go ahead.
describing. Here's why I'm angered by the disingenuous people who keep coming to this community that's awakening. Whether they call themselves African, whether they want to spew this bullshit about you being a self-hating African, call themselves a Moor, a Hebrew Israelite, whatever. If you are not disingenuous, you would actually come to the people and the community that you claim you're assisting and put the effort in what you just described, nonetheless. And by the way, I'm not asking you to do a damn thing for me. I'm not even asking you to come over here and do it. I'm asking you to stop bringing your filth and poisoning the airways and the ability for people to start clearly understanding things better. But you advertise to bring people to you and do it. Just do it. I don't give a shit what it is. Get her done, like Larry the Cable Guy said. But don't come over here with that shit anymore, because it's going to be checked at the door. Finally, as you just said, nonetheless, who is that individual inside each family that's going to do the things you're describing? You follow me? That's what we don't try to discuss more effectively. For the persons in the chat that kept saying, shut the fuck up and provide solutions, we are. You just may not be hearing them. But again, we're not here to do what work you need to do amongst your family. Would you agree, nonetheless?
Man, I agree with everything you're saying, bro. And I think that's what's really don't get in our heads, that maybe we the leaders inside of our family when we know this information. And it's order for you to build on it so you can take the information back, because you don't want this certain things to be out in the public, man. You don't. That's how we got
So
into
you
the
do
shit we
see
in.
why these people who are disruptors,
Yes,
leeches,
sir.
and saboteurs are
Yes, sir.
preventing clarity and messaging that is
Right.
simple and
Yep.
direct. And that's
Yep.
what whether people listen to me or not, I don't really care. What I am attempting to do is to try to bring focus and make the message simple. And anyone who's listening, those with ears who will bother to hear, will maybe get eyes that will bother to see. But anyone who loves the drama and that reality TV shit, why don't you change the channel? But those who are the agents and the saboteurs, the agent provocateurs, get them. Where the snipers at? You feel me, brother? That shit's got to be checked at the door. We can't, this is too important, the condition of our people that is going on and the eugenics that is unimpeded. This is some real shit. You feel me?
All right. So my mind, this is just me personally. I understand that through the indoctrination and the culture that we see here in the Americas, it programs us to have this African slave mindset. And unless you free yourself from that myth, you're going to forever be repeating the cycle of being a slave, either a slave working for somebody else or a slave to your own desires. You're going to have that slave mindset. So the first thing is you got to break that cycle and understand that we are not slaves. We not no goddamn African. All that shit is a myth. It's a mental slavery construction. The second thing is to get financially literate, meaning that you got to have multiple incomes coming in. You got to. You can't operate in this here realm unless you got some kind of perpetual income coming in on the daily. You can't just have one. You got to have multiple. That's the second thing. The third thing is once you have acquired enough money, fiat, whatever you want to call it, cash, whatever you want to call it, commerce, you got to use that money and then acquire land. You do that, you get the land, you get your family set up, and then you teach your offspring who they are. You got to fix it. So these are practical things that we could do.
Hey,
when we start going in.
Zad. Hey, see, look, here, the whole thing about what we are about is technically we should not be buying on land. But if that's the only way to access land, then that's okay. But for us in North America, we have a lot of people having land that's old to them. So
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna get to that too. Like the brother that came up, his grandfather, and there's a lot of people.
It's a whole lot. It's a lot of people, bro. It's not just him. It's
a lot. I know a lot. I'm talking to a girl right now where it's like the same story. That's why I came up. Her family back in North Carolina got all this farmland. The land is going to waste. Like this is like prime land that they could go and plant produce on. It's just going to waste.
Not enterprising though. But see, look, part of you have to be educated and know what the fuck to do with land. Like you just can't give land like that to some motherfucking person who's not capable of managing their own life. It has to be in a responsible, business-minded person who can manage that land and allocate it properly to the rest of the family members.
And like the brother was saying, he's getting hung up with family issues. Like he said, the grandmother holding on to it because she still got that mindset. No offense to his grandmother, but she still got that mindset where she's not even trying to go down that commercial route. She's holding on to them gems and not even trying to. It's that mindset. It goes, slave just wants to work for somebody. You understand? And that's part of the indoctrination that you have to break. But people got to understand that, yes, you do. I mean, we got to be real. We got to be practical. You got to get the money. You got to buy the land if you don't have land in your name. And once you do that, then the industriousness gotta kick in. So yeah, you could play the legal game and go to court and do all of that, and you better know what you're doing. I'm saying you better go in there being well informed, because they will tear your ass up in that courtroom if you go in there with any flim flam. But these are practical solutions that I'm offering, man. I'm saying you got to get your mind right, you got to get your bread up, then you get the land. That's just my take on it.
Bro, I think that we got to understand what these physical places are actually not what you think they are, bro. The court is not okay. When you do a trust, you know that's court. When you do any when you do it, when everyone talking about a declaration of identity, when you're doing a declaration, you're doing of identity, that's court. Any paperwork that has your family name on it and who you are, that's actually court. So you shouldn't even end up. You should have a paper trail where these courts or these
Dude,
municipal buildings
you talking to
automatically.
a dude that studied the Moorish science. I understand the,
No,
the,
no,
the
no. What
higher
I'm
level concepts of what you talk
no,
about
I'm
when it
not.
comes to
I'm not
court.
talking
I
about. I'm
understand
not.
it.
No, I'm not talking about what other people are talking about. I'm talking about what the whole system is set up by. It's set up by when you identify yourself, that's actually court. When you do, okay, is this Morris right here? When you send an official document when you get certified, you send it certified mail, and you get that certified mail stick receipt back with proof that they got it and they had to sign for it. Did you realize that you just did a court official document? That's through the U.S. Postal Services, right? So you got the United States Post Office and you have the U.S. Post Office, right? They're not the same thing.
But here's the thing, though. I
No, you have
understand.
you
I
have. I'm sorry, you
understand
got the
that.
Postal Service,
No,
the
hear me out.
Postal
Let me ask
Service.
you a question. Let me ask you a quick question, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's to stop the colonizer from taking that piece of paper and ripping that shit up, kicking you in your ass, and tell you get the fuck up out of here with that bullshit?
Let me explain something to you, bro.
No, I'm asking you, like, what's stopping them from doing
I'm gonna
such?
tell you. That's what I'm about to explain to you. Okay, when you're dealing with entities, right? A lot of these people don't want to face you man to man, right? So therefore, what you do is you identify who the colonizer is first. Since they want to play colonizer, then you identify who they is, and you bring them into your realm without title. So whatever they trying to sue you for, you can sue them for. That's called equity. So therefore, they can't hide behind the state of or judge this, judge that. You go man to man, your name against my name without title. Because why? That's because now you're trying to prove their
Oh, yeah, I see
dishonor.
what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Bringing
So
out the
they
individuals, mano
right,
to mano. I see what you're
right.
saying.
You take their title away from them. They don't like that. You let them know that dishonor is returned to them. Please identify yourself without title and see how they don't want to fuck with you then. Because I'm coming to you without title. Now you come to me without title.
So
You see what I'm saying?
you
Because
take the
look, this
titles away and
But
you
what
give
he
them.
just described there
Yeah, I
is
got you.
about authority.
right, right.
See, we have granted them authority by the document that people keep beating you over the head with, the Constitution. And I've said this before, and I'll say it one more time. It was only a defining parameters for the foreign colonizers that we unfortunately allowed entry. You heard of the colloquial phrase, the camel's nose in the tent. You don't let that happen, because then the camel's in the tent. Your ass got to lead the tent, right? And that's what we've allowed. Bethy said something interesting about the first 13 colonies. In the original contract agreement, there was possibly 10 acres square, or it was either 10 acres or 10 miles, doesn't matter what the number is, but it certainly wasn't the entire state that we see drawn on the map today. So what would those original 13 colonies be? settlements, encampments, which word works for you. But we were allowing them to live and coexist if they did not break the boundaries of the document. You feel me, Zab? But their nature was criminal, right? And ironically, more than half of them were actual criminals that were released from the debtor prisons of England, or street urchins that were scooped up and were the actual indentured servants or the slavs or the slaves that you want to say today. But any way you go about it, they never followed any agreed upon contract, including the 600 plus treaties that were broken before the ink was dry. So then how are you conducting business with someone like that? I think that's the point you were getting at, right? Nonetheless, how do you deal with an individual like that who doesn't have, because the Klan is a bunch of cowards and they come as a mob against one black male to prove a point by hanging him from a tree. And the hanging dead person from the tree is to terrorize tens of thousands of others, right? And what do you get convinced in believing? These must be a powerful people because they're a marauding band of criminals. But how do you conduct business with a person with no moral fiber and they don't have the character to be kept to their word? Even in their Indian and cowboy and Indian movies, they tell us constantly, and they're telling on themselves while they're telling us they are liars. They speak with forked tongue. They then play the cowboy and the Indian, and we were both. Isn't that the truth from Hollywood? So we have all this video evidence, films, content, records, treaties, and documents that all say the same thing. These people are liars, thieves, murderers, and can't be trusted. But we don't have that character as a people or as individuals, do we? Because we keep trusting them, don't we? Now we're in a condition of being oppressed and enslaved, whether you believe we were slaves or not. There is an enslavement process that's going on that is so debilitating that we're turning on ourselves internally because of how we're segregated in 2023, because we are segregated now. We used to live in communities that were self-sustaining by choice, didn't we? What happened after redlining and real estate development? What happened after projects were created and ghettos were designed? What happened after prisons were built and now they're being traded on the stock market when they are funded by federal, state, and local tax dollars? Now, all of that is criminal. And they themselves, the criminals, have said that it was criminal because the banks have been said they were criminal for redlining the Aborigine. Right now, today, they are saying privatizing of prisons is criminal while they are targeting Aboriginal males predominantly. They are claiming we're less than 6% of the population, but we're between 25 and 40% of the prison population. That don't sound like no happenstance to me. How about you, nonetheless?
Well, you broke it down pretty good. When you talking about the from the after you said after the when he created the projects, right? Because we all I grew up in the projects. You know what I'm saying? And I seen
That
all the
came
stuff.
from the mass. That came
Right.
from the mass migration. They called it the Great
After
Migration, didn't they?
right. After
Okay,
yep.
and then
After
once you
that.
migrated from the
After the
south
red.
to the north.
You,
Hey, my
wait a
bad,
minute.
brother. I'm
Let me.
gonna cut y'all off, but shit, I gotta get the hell out of here. I gotta make a few
All right.
runs for my bill later on. Don't forget, man, we're gonna be coming back, seeing y'all later on at 9 o'clock on Dr. Longo's channel. So, man, we're gonna be dropping some heat over there. So I'll
What
see y'all
time? What time is that, bro?
9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
All right. What's gonna be the topic?
Man, I'm not even for sure. You just have to tune in, bro. It's gonna be one on ones.
Yeah, that's called marketing. Copper Color Grizzly. Thank you for the time, because
Yeah, bro. Appreciate it.
abos and arrows, elbows and assholes, keep them running.
Topic is
Copper Color
Aborigines,
Grizzly.
though. You know what I mean? Aborigines in America, though. You know what I mean? Science, shit like that. You know what I mean? So.
Could I suggest one last thing, though? Ab, I know you've talked about the encyclopedia, and there was one other book that a lot of people don't hear come from you more. This sourcing nonsense and the scholarship, I gather you're going to focus that for the debate so that you can squash the bullshit that comes from those people who say source up and quarrel about what is scholarship. And it would be very interesting if you use from the same sources they use people amongst their scholarship community that disavows the shit they keep spouting. And I yield.
Shout out to you, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Alabama, Tanchin this one. Nonetheless, see Sister Betty in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Hey, man, make sure y'all thumb up the video before we get out of here. I'll see y'all later on, man.
What's this, a lightweight jam and shit, man? What's going on?
Yeah, this was just a little pre-game before to the bill later on. Yeah,
nice. I got you, no doubt, man. Peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, man. Peace to AP, man.
And peace and blessings to everybody, man. Make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I'll see y'all later on. Be safe, be aware, stay vigilant, stay dangerous. It's your brother, Original Power, and we out. Peace.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back. Got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you